Conor, Dave from Wild Youth, how's it going?
Great. How are
Great,
you,
Dave.
Dave?
How are you?
Not so bad. Thank you for waiting while I rearranged the room for this Zoom chat. Unfortunately, our background isn't quite the RedFM backing that I was hoping for, but we might
Green and
green
red.
screen something in soon, like maybe the cover of the new single or something.
Great idea.
That would be
That's
cool.
a great idea.
I
Let's do
have
that.
I have some words for you on how the new single sounds, and actually,
Okay.
they're words that probably describe Wild Youth generally.
What are they?
Well,
Slick, sexy,
Oh,
funky.
wow.
They're three pretty good words, I think.
Jeez,
Very
they're
cool.
amazing words. Thanks very much. I
Uh,
don't think we've ever been called all three at once. Cheers.
what is the vibe though? It is really funky and slinky and sexy. A slinky, sexy, funky sound on the new single from Wild Youth called "Next to You." Tell me about it, boys.
yeah. Next to You, it's a song that it was kind of when finishing the kind of run of like our last EP and obviously getting back into studio and starting to write again. It was actually one of the kind of first ideas that came about, but didn't really get fit. It's probably the longest we've ever had to write a song. It took like maybe 4 months because we had a chorus that we loved, but we didn't have a verse. And then kind of over time, we wrote the verse and then wrote the kind of middle eight, and the outro. And then it kind of just slowly but surely became one of our favorite songs. So as a natural progression, we just felt that why not give people the song that we're loving the most at the moment? So that is Next to You.
And is that some kind of a like because obviously we're all in these weird conditions where the normal processes can't happen, where Wild Youth are out and about, and Dave can't be ripping open the shirt at the front of the stage and sweating onto the fans in the front row as he was in the Crane Lane when we had that fabulous gig with you guys in January of last year, like forever
That was
ago.
great.
That was good fun. Yeah.
But so is it a kind of a like, let's get something out so there's some activity going on?
No, I think we've kind of not put new music out for about a year now. So it was always our intention to put a lot of new music out this year. It actually got delayed because of everything that's happened, but it actually worked out okay because we feel now that it's totally the right time to put new music out. And if we can't play shows as a band, we just want to now put out as much music as possible.
So this is the first of a stepping stone of songs.
For sure.
You're going to be sick of us, Dave.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. It'll be good. It'll be good to have regular, fresh new music from Wild Youth. It's already sounding good on air. And
Great.
What's it building up to? What's the grand plan?
Probably what will be an EP in like early 2021, and then hopefully progressing on to an album. We've never done an album, and I think as big fans of albums, it's definitely something we want to do. So we're back writing already, and we're back in the studio, even though we have like an EP done. We're already back and we're working on new songs. So that for us, I think would start to feel like a natural progression towards an album. So fingers crossed.
An album would be a great move. Be fantastic to have a full Wild Youth album. An opus, a record of your work. Well, maybe not today because it wouldn't have everything. Obviously, it would be a compilation of whatever you chose. I mean, it must be an exciting process trying to put an album together. Have you? Presumably, you almost play around with those ideas in your heads already. Like, if you were to put one out tomorrow, what would be the songs on it? It might not be that easy to choose, is it?
I think for us, we have always been big believers in the fact of the music that we've put out. So if we were to do an album, it would probably be all new material because, those songs are there already for people to hear and to listen to. So it's like, I don't know. I just think I hope we have the capability to go and write new songs and continue to write new songs like we are. And even like since we finished the last EP, we've probably written about 40 songs. So it's a process that we love and we enjoy. So we're not going to shy away from the fact that we hope to write an album with all new material, maybe picking one or two of our, or three maybe of our favorites of songs that we've put out and putting them on, but definitely not taking all the material that we've put out and kind of cramming that onto an album. We would definitely want to give a lot of fresh material as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. Maybe there'll be like a fan bonus extra album of all the songs you already know, like, and love, and you can have those too. But I get you. I hear where you're coming from on that. So it must be very frustrating then to have like 40 songs and, you know, not be able to bring them to anyone to any great degree, barring this one now.
It's a good position to be in also, really.
Hmm.
To have 40, a catalogue of 40 songs there, and they're all really good songs, and they all have great potential, and some of them with a little more work could be better than next year if we do it right, you know. So we're in a great position when it comes to the songwriting aspect of things.
And I think that we definitely intend on giving people as much music as possible. So
for sure.
it's not a case that we're sitting with 40 songs and we're like, it's such a shame that no one's going to get to hear these. We intend to not stop putting music out for the foreseeable future. We plan to just constantly put out songs, maybe every 3-4 months for hopefully the rest of our lives. Yeah.
Ever. Wow. Oh, mad. Well, look, great. We look forward to it because this one sounds brilliant as well. So how have the heads been through all of this time? What have you been doing? I mean, you guys are obviously meeting up and making music together, I presume.
Yeah, we have been.
Yeah, we have been. There's been times as well where it's hard, you know. We like, you know, ourselves, the music industry, there's no gig going on at the minute, so that's something that we love to do the most is gig. As you've seen us ripping our clothes off on stage, as you said. But yeah, no, we haven't been able to gig or do anything like that, so that's been difficult. So that's been a low point, but we've had time to chill and relax with family, friends, write music, hone in on what we want our sound to be and like what route we want to go more down. And so there's pros and cons to the whole thing, you know. You just got to stay strong, I think, and stay positive.
Well, this sounds like a progression from the music that we heard most recently, this song anyway. So is this a good reflection of where Wild Youth are at and where you're going musically?
Yeah, I think, you know, I think at the start you're very early in your career and you bring out music that we're super proud of, but I think as time goes on you really start to figure out who you are as people and who you are as a band. And I think the more music you start to bring out, the more confident you feel in your ability and the more you kind of feel confident to take ownership of your songs. And so I think the next like songs from now going forward are like just a total reflection of us as people, who we are, music that we've grown up with, music our parents played us when we were younger. And
what's in there? Like a bit of disco or like Prince or?
Yeah, there's lots of Prince and there's disco records. There's even the Beach Boys. There's Frankie Valli. And then, you know, I think you hear like Ed would be a huge Rage Against the Machine fan, so you can hear certain tones on his guitar through all of those sounds that are a little bit kind of grungier. And it's kind of just a compilation of all of the music that we love kind of coming into one. And that's, I think, what makes Wild Youth and hopefully always will make Wild Youth.
That there's that mix of influences coming into it in the first place. Because I remember one of the early songs, like it had a real there was a real rock vocal on it from you, Dave. And and I thought almost that might be what Wild Youth are going to be. And then it got a lot groovier, a lot funkier, which also is great. But I suppose you had that potential at one point to be that too. So when you talk albums, because like, you know, albums are, well, I don't know if they're a dying breed as such, but it's not really the currency of music in the way that it used to be. I obviously grew up with albums and love an album. I think there's something in listening to a series of works from whoever the artist is from start to finish, and even how they've been compiled, the order that they come in and the flow that there is to it. You know, and obviously I presume therefore your folks are all big music fans and that's where a lot of it is seeped into. So you know, I was going to ask about what are the sorts of albums that you would draw on as classic ones for you.
Ooh. That's a nasty...
We did this thing recently with Coronas in the Vinyl Lounge of Golden Discs, Red Talks Records, where we got them, it was the eve of the new album. We got them to pick 2 albums each. So there's 3 of them, obviously. Got them to pick 2 albums each that were significant to them. They picked the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. They picked Abbey Road by the Beatles. I think Mick Christopher's Skylarkin was in there. So, you know, if you were to even choose
One of
one or.
one of the last albums that I can ever actually just remember buying before it came to Spotify and streaming and stuff like that was Bon Iver Holocene. That was the last album I actually can remember buying ever. And that was just amazing because the artwork was all like beautifully painted and stuff like that. But yeah, that just stood out to me there because that was the last album I actually ever bought, I think.
Yeah, I think my dad brought me up on Pet Sounds, so that would have to be one of mine.
And so when you're thinking about an album in the future, are you thinking about just the songs or the whole, how you go about the whole thing, how it would look? Is there one of you that's more particularly focused on that than the other?
Yeah,
I think
Cons would lose sleep over that sort of stuff, I think, more.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as a band anyway, like creatively, we like to make things a total journey. So even like if you see where Next to You is now, and I'm not sure if you've seen the music video, but with our first EP, everything was like pink. So our lighting on our shows was pink, and our color scheme on our artwork was pink, and we try and make that a kind of mood across the board. And then with the start of this journey, it's like Next to You, we've brought a lot more kind of psychedelic coloring in, and that will obviously, if we were to do shows, that would have been a reoccurring theme then through the light show, through the artwork, through the videos, through everything. So we always like to make it a total journey, and then because I think that can take you then back to that time and place. So when you said that, you're like, oh, that was that era, and then it's like you move on to maybe what's album 2, and then that could be, people just always associate the coloring and everything with that era and a time.
I think I asked the right question. So in other words, it's not even just on the next release; it's on a whole series of releases. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Class. Yeah. Wow, that's and was that always the case, or is it built that way as you guys have grown creatively as a band and as individuals?
I think it's something we've always kind of been conscious of. Yeah, it's something we've always liked to keep a theme for. Obviously, like with All or Nothing and Lose Control, there wasn't as much of a theme because they were just kind of singles that we were just a young band and we put them out. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't even know if we were going to do a show. We didn't know if people were going to listen to them. But then as we started to gain more of a following and everything, it was something that became very prominent to us and something that we were very sure on. And then that's where the whole kind of pink concept came from on the first EP. And then kind of on our second tour, we started to bring like yellow in, and then like our merch was yellow, and now it's like we've moved towards like the kind of psychedelic coloring, and we'll probably bring our merch that way. And hopefully when we do shows and we play these songs, that will bring that coloring into the shows and our artwork and our music videos. And then hopefully when we get a giant collection of work, when you have EP1 and EP2 and hopefully album 1 and album 2, that even all the different themes can kind of start to come back in and out through the show. So it'll be a total journey of Wild Youth. Yeah.
Brilliant. I like the big broad vision and how it seems to have developed from the beginning. So I'm guessing, Conor, this is a lot of this is coming from you, or it's you that thinks about these things and puts this together. But what are the roles in the band? Who does what as you guys see it? Do you have distinct roles for each of you in the band, or do you think that one is someone the messer, is someone the brains in the background, is someone the lover man, is someone the perpetually late?
Well, we could definitely, without doubt, give Cal the late one.
Okay.
I think, like we don't ever like narrow it down to this is your role, this is your role, this is your role. We kind of just do things as naturally as possible. Obviously, like there's very different things. So in terms of like writing, I love writing music. So I would always kind of gravitate towards writing. Whereas when it comes to like a live show and choreographing our live show, that's always been kind of like Dave's world and performance. And even when you see the music video and how that's choreographed and everything, that would all stem from like Dave. And then Ed is probably the most organized. So he keeps us all in check. And then
see, there you go. Like actually, like as it turns out, everyone kind of naturally does appear. Apologies if I cut you off there, Conor. But as you say, kind of naturally or fill a certain role within the band, which is cool. It's probably how it has all to gel together.
Yeah, and it's always been a natural thing for us. It's like no one's ever been kind of put into a role. It's just people's personalities coming through and where they shine in different areas. And it's just about kind of letting people then grow in that area, kind of having no ego and being told that I'm a crap dancer on stage, and Dave showing me maybe how I can move around a little bit for you, like little things like that. And we're very open. We're all very good friends. So we all kind of allow everyone to have a voice in their kind of area of expertise.
Yes.
And kind of sit back and listen, because the more you listen, the more you learn and the more you can grow.
Well, let me ask a final question then, and let me ask it of you, Dave, from that Crane Lane performance where we brought you in for a Red FM listener party. We True Tides to open, and they've really developed as a band, and you guys were next up, and I think you were many steps ahead of where True Tides were at the time, and I look forward to see what's coming and the singles over the next few months, and with luck an album at some point in 21. But so on the night of the Crane Lane, when you guys, do you inhabit a kind of a character or another space when you go out to perform? Where does the confidence come from? The shirt open, the leaning over the crowd, the hip thrusting that Dave brings to it. Do you have to, did you initially have to fake that, or was that a natural thing that comes from the performance aspect?
Yeah, no, I never faked it. It's funny because I always joke about it now and say like I have two personas. I don't know why, and I can't explain it. I've lost many hours sleep trying to figure out how or who that guy is that's more confident than the guy that's off stage, and I can't put my finger on it, but there's something happens when I get up there that I just go into this other place, and I feel like I can do anything, say anything. I feel like I can take anything on. I'm the most confident I ever am. I can sing and speak freely and not be shy. It's weird. I can't explain it, and I don't know what it is. And I've kind of stopped trying to figure out what it is because
probably a good idea.
Yeah, as I said, like you come off stage. I remember at the beginning when I was trying to figure out so hard, like
what the hell is that?
How can I get that guy's confidence off stage? And I'd come off and I'd be sad, like, cause I can't, So it's just best to like have it like that, and it's still me. It's still 100% me up there, but I just go into this switch where I just want to give everything up there, and I want to be given everything back, and I'll fight for it. It's strange. It's very strange. Sorry?
Possibly also the audience wants that too, and it's feeding off that energy of like fulfilling, because you're in a crowd, you're watching a band, you kind of want someone to lead you forward along the way, and potentially it helps the rest of the band to come up as well.
Yeah, it's like a dance. I think it's like a dance or like a fight. You know what I mean? Like if one person's giving it all, the other person or people who are watching it, they're gonna give it back as well. They have to. It's energy. It's like addictive. So once you feel that energy, you want to kind of like give it back to that person, I believe. So yeah, it's cool. It's a good feeling. It's a nice feeling, I have to say.
And it's fun to watch, and you guys plainly look like you're enjoying it, and the audience are too.
Yeah, no, we do. We love it. Like when it comes to the live aspect of things, it's one of our favorite things to do. And I'm at the press button. It's one of our favorite things to do, and we hopefully be able to do this now for the rest of our life. People want us to keep doing it. We absolutely love it.
Yeah, well, the sooner we see Wild Youth back out on a stage rocking something or other anywhere. And actually, Jeevan, have you toyed with any kind of ideas around how to even do it in a smaller way?
Yeah, we're always looking at options, and we're always looking at what we can do, because honestly, it's where we feel at home is on a stage, and we miss that feeling. It's now been probably since January since we've done a show, which is like the longest ever. It's crazy. So yeah, I mean, we're trying to just figure out options and things we can do, but who knows?
Okay, Conor and David from Wild Youth, it's been a pleasure. Dave, have I encouraged you to potentially grow that beard out a bit more?
I actually did it at one point during the lockdown, but mine doesn't look as good as yours, Dave. So I think I was actually going to trim this today. I think it's getting too much. I'll let you have the long beard.
You're telling me I look like your manager. So
yeah, you do, man.
You too.
Is it 10%, 15%? What's the?
We'll let you two talk about that. You two can come up with a number together.
A percentage of nothing is still nothing.
Hey! Give me an album credit. Thanks to Dave the Beard Mac, Red FM.
There you go. You have a name and all. Dave the Beard Mac.
Nice one, lads. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for the support as always.